Yeah, this lesson is a continue for review for cycle 3, quiz 2, solving trig equations. And for number 2, solving the equations, give a general formula for all solutions, then list all solutions from negative 4 pi to 4 pi. Okay, let's go to the first one. So I have 2 cosine theta minus 3 pi over 4 plus square root of 3 equal to 0. Definitely, you need to isolate the variable. So I cross square root of 3 the other side. I got the 2 cosine theta minus 3 pi over 4 equal to negative square root of 3. Then I divided by 2 both sides. I got cosine theta minus 3 pi over 4 equal to negative square root of 3 over 2. Since you got cosine something equals negative square root of 3 over 2, so we go to reference angle first. The reference angle you will get is pi over 6. Since for cosine, the value is negative square root of 3 over 2, it's negative. So we go to the second quadrant and then the third quadrant. I got pi minus pi over 6. You get 5 pi over 6. Pi plus pi over 6. You will get 7 pi over 6. So you will get the whole thing like theta minus 3 pi over 4 either equal to 5 pi over 6 or 7 pi over 6. Then I write down theta minus 3 pi over 4 equal to 6 and then the 5 pi over 6. Or I get theta minus 3 pi over 4. You will get 7 pi over 6. So cross, you need to add 3 pi over 4 and add 3 pi over 4. So I do cross multiply. Your theta equals, here I got like, let me work this out. I have 5 pi over 6 plus 3 pi over 4. Cross multiply, I got the 20 pi. Here it's 18 pi. Denominator is 24. So adding 38 pi over 24. That's why you get the denominator is 12, 19 pi over 12. Same thing here. Your theta equals, and here's 24, 28 plus 18. Yeah, that is pi. So you will get, it's 46, then divided by 2, here's 12, 23 pi. Since we need a general form, so let's look at the period equals 2 pi over b. And you know this is b is 1, so it's 2 pi. You just need to analyze this. And then you will get your reference, the period, it will be 2 pi over b, b equals 1, so that's why you 2 pi. That's why I add 2 pi and then to this theta. That's your theta 1. And you need to write down n will be all integers. Yeah, you can write down like z. Same thing here. You add 2 pi n. And you need to show that n is all integers too. That's your theta 2. So how to list those solutions between negative 4 pi to 4 pi? And I will list the theta 1 over here. That's the theta 1. Yeah, you need to focus on this first. And we go to like 19 pi over 12. Then I add 2 pi first. So because your period is 2 pi, so 2 pi, I add 2 pi. I need to cross multiply again to get like 12. And then the numerator will get 43 pi. Okay. So I list like 19 over 12 pi. Then next one will be 43 pi over 12. And we know that the difference, it will be 24. Yeah, that's for the numerator only. Your denominator keep the same. Since I'm looking for the angle between negative 4 pi to 4 pi. And I check denominator is 12. So for the number 4 pi, top and bottom, I count this is 1. You know, I multiply by 12. I will get the 12 denominator and then 48 pi. Then for this part, it will be negative 48 pi. Then here's a 12. Now, if I add another 24, and I will greater than 48 pi as denominator, so I stop here. Then go this side. I just need to subtract 24. Just from 19, I need to subtract 24. So I will get negative 5 pi. Then I keep subtracting 24. I got negative 29 pi. If I subtract 24 again, it will be less than negative 48. So I stop. That means that's the answer for theta 1. So I do the same thing for theta 2 this time, for this one. So for theta 2, and then I will get 23 over 12. Here's pi. I add 2 pi first. So basically, you will get 24. So I have 47 pi over 12. And I list them up. I have 23 pi over 12. Then it will be 47 pi over 12. Only look at the numerator. It's adding 24 this time. So I subtract 24, you get a negative 1 pi over 24. I subtract 24 from here. Then I subtract 24 again, and then I will get negative 25 pi over 12. Yeah, I need to stop because this one is not, it will be less than negative 48 if I minus 24 again. So basically, then this is the list for theta 2 between negative 4 pi to 4 pi. Now let's go to B now. Yeah, same thing. I just need to divide it by 2 both sides. And you will get sine theta 4 multiplied by theta minus 2 pi over 3. Then equal to negative 3 pi, negative square root of 3 over 2. Since I already got the 1 sine theta equals something, I directly go to, yeah, right here, the reference angle equals pi over 3. And this is less than 0. That's why we go to, for sine, it will be third and then the fourth quadrant. So I have pi plus pi over 3. I get the 4 pi over 3. Then 2 pi minus pi over 3. You will get the 5 pi over 3. That's how you get whatever over here. You will set up 4 theta minus 2 pi over 3, then equal to 4 pi over 3. That's the first equation you set up. Then the second equation you set up like 4 theta minus 2 pi over 3 is equal to 5 pi over 3. So I will do distributive property first. So you get the 4 theta minus 8 pi over 3 equal to 4 pi over 3. Then cross the river, because this is linear, definitely. So I have 4 theta equals, I add 8 pi over 3. So basically it's 12 pi over 3. That means 4 pi. So your theta equals pi because I divided by 4 both sides. Then what's the period for this? Then your period equals 2 pi over b is 2 pi over 4. You will get pi over 2. So I add pi over 2 n times n. Then your n will be integers. Yeah, that's for general form for theta 1. Now I want to list the angle between negative 4 pi to 4 pi. So for theta 1, pi is your theta 1 original. I add pi over 2. You will get 3 pi over 2. So I list like this is the pi. Here's the 3 pi over 2. I want to get the same denominator. So I want to get like 2 pi over 2 and then 3 pi over 2. So in this way, it's easy for us to count. I get, yeah, just add pi every time. It's over 2. So I got the 4 pi over 2. Then I got 5 pi over 2. Then 6 pi over 2. And 7 pi over 2. Then you have 8 pi over 2. Because you try to make, if we do fraction for 4 pi, You know, the denominator is 2, you get the 8 pi over 2. That's why I stop for 8 pi over 2. If you have equal sign over here, that means 8 pi over 2 counts. If no equal sign, then you have to cross out 8 pi over 2. Then keep doing, subtract the pi to the top. I got the pi over 2 and get 0. You know, it's a minus pi. At the top, it will be 0. Then you get negative pi over 2. It will list a lot for this question. So I stop. That's your theta 1. You know, I need you work out the rest of them by yourself. It just like keep subtracting pi to the denominator. Make your denominator is over 2. Then you can simplify, rewrite them like 4 pi over 2. You can write down 2 pi. You know, just keep going. Now let's go to the second equation. So you have to do distributive property. And then you have 4 theta minus 8 pi over 3. Then equal to 5 pi over 3. Then you cross the river, change the sign, get like add 8 pi over 3. So your 4 theta equal to 13 pi over 3. Then I divide by 4 both sides. Then this time your theta 2 equals 13 pi over 12. Then I need to add the period times n is pi over 2 times n, and then n is integers. Therefore, this is the general formula for theta 2. And you want to list from negative 4 pi to 4 pi. And I figure out that the denominator will be 12. So you have to do, here's 12 multiplied by 12 is 48 pi. And then this one will be 12 negative 48 pi. So it will be long list. Yeah, let me give you some clue now. So I have for theta 2. And I will get 13 pi over 12. I add pi over 2. So I get 19 pi over 12. And I will do the list like this. So 13 pi over 12. Next one is 19 pi over 12. So I keep adding, basically it's 6. Adding 6. Then you get the 12 pi over 12. 1 pi over 12. Then 37 pi over 12. Keep going. And for this size, you have to subtract 6 from here. So I will get the 7 pi over 12. Then you get the pi over 12. Then you get negative 5 pi over 12. Yeah, you need to keep going until you get the denominator will be negative 48 pi and or positive 48 pi. Then you stop. It will be long list for this question. Now let's go to C this time. So same thing, I need to cross that equal sign to isolate the cosine 3 theta. So I get the 2 cosine 3 theta equal to negative square root of 3. I divide by 2. I will get the cosine square root of theta equal to negative square root of 3 over 2. So I go to reference angle this time. It will be pi over 6. Since cosine is less than 0, they go to second and then the third quadrant. So I have pi minus pi over 6. You get the 5 pi over 6. Then pi plus pi over 6, you get the 7 pi over 6. So 3 theta will be equals either 5 pi over 6, or you have 3 theta equals 7 pi over 6. And I divided by 3 both sides. Your theta will be 5 pi over 18. That's your theta 1. Then the period will be 2 pi over 3 because the coefficient of theta is 3. So I add 2 pi over 3 times n. Then the n is integers. Yeah, let me change this rule because if we do the 4 pi between negative 4 pi to 4 pi, that's too many. Now for this question, C and D, yeah, let's change into between like negative 2 pi to 2 pi. Yeah, for the real quiz, I won't give you like negative 4 pi to 4 pi. That's too many. Most of them either is from 0 to 3 pi or from negative 2 pi to 2 pi. So I will write down the theta is between negative 2 pi to 2 pi. Then for theta 1, I will get 5 pi over 18. I add 2 pi over 3. So you will get, here's denominator will be 18 and 17 pi. So at least my answer is like a 5 pi over 18. Then my next one will be 17 pi over 18. That means basically it's adding 12. So the denominator will be 18. Then I can write down here is 18 negative 36 pi. 36 pi over 18. So I add 12. For next one, I got the 18. Here's 29 pi. I add 12 again, it's 18. 12 is 41 pi. Definitely you need to cross this out because it's greater than 36 pi. Now we go here, it's keep subtracting 12. So get a negative 7 pi over 18. Then minus 12 again, it will be negative 19 pi over 18. Then minus 12 again, it will be negative 31 pi over 18. Yeah, you cannot go further because it will be less than negative 36. So all answer between negative 2 pi to 2 pi will be this for theta 1. Now let's go to the second one. I divided by 3 both sides. Then you will get your theta equal to, drop down, it's 7 pi over 18. Then, we have the same period. So I have 2 pi over 3, then times n. This is 2 pi over 3. So your n will be all integers. So this time we need to list for theta 2. This is theta 2. I have 7 pi over 18. I add 2 pi over 3. Then you will get the 19 pi over 18. So I have 7 pi over 18, then 19 pi over 18. Basically, keep the same thing. I keep adding 12. So I will get 31 pi over 18. Then add 12 again, it will be 43 pi over 12. Definitely it's wrong because it's greater than 36 pi as denominator. Then I keep subtracting 12. Then I get negative 5 pi over 18, negative 17 pi over 18. Then you have negative 39 pi over 18. Then you need to cross this out. So basically you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 answers for this list between negative 2 pi to 2 pi. For D, I don't have any time to figure this out. I just give you answers. If you have any questions, you can come to tutorial. Okay, then it's the answer for D, the theta 1, the general formula will be 11 pi over 9 plus 2 pi times n over 3. N is integers. Then I list them up. This will be the answer. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is the answer for theta 2. It's 13 pi over 9 plus 2 pi times n over 3. N is all integers. And if you want to list all angles between negative 2 pi to 2 pi like this, and then it will be your answer like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.